Ladies and gents, here I have special guest, クリスハートさんです。
はじめまして、クリスハートです。よろしくお願いします。
I have no plan so far.
No problem. No plan is the best plan.
Okay, so he is a Japanese singer for more than 10 years. Originally from US,
Yes.
San Francisco, right?
You did your homework.
I did my assignment.
Yes, originally from San Francisco. Yeah.
And you came to Japan at the age of 25?
I came when I was 12 for a homestay,
Mm.
for like a 2-week homestay, and then I fell in love with Japan, and then I came when I was 25 to live.
What attracted you at the time when you were like 12 years
Yeah,
old?
I was 12, and it was very, very rare at the time. But my middle school had a Japanese program.
That's rare, yes.
Extremely rare. I said, why not? I'll try Japanese.
Yeah.
And it was fun. It was fun to learn the language. So I just did the studying, and then my teacher knew how much I liked studying, so she introduced me to a homestay program. And I did a homestay program for 2 weeks in Ibaraki.
Ibaraki.
And just loved it. It was just really cool to live in Japan. I'm like, I have to get back.
So the beginning it was more for language, not like
Yeah,
culture.
it was just to learn the language and have some fun. I didn't realize how much I would love learning the language. At that time, because in San Francisco there's a pretty large Japanese community, they had a TV network aimed for Japanese viewers. So they would have like music shows and dramas playing. And I just happened to watch a music show for the sake of studying. And I
Okay.
fell in love with the music, so it was kind of this double like
Music too.
Yeah, and then I ended up going, and I loved being in Japan.
I'm not an expert, unfortunately, so I'd like to know how is it different? Like,
Yeah, that's a crazy question. No, the music in America is a lot of like blues scales and kind of things like that, but in Japanese is a lot of like loose pentatonic, and it's just really unique. And
but were you interested in like traditional style, like enka style, or more like pop music?
I got into pop music first.
Pop music.
So this is like the weird part of the journey that people don't know from my story, because I sing pop now and a lot of older stuff. So I started off in pop and then ended up in a visual kei band with my friends, and I did that for like 7 years.
In Japan or in US?
In US.
In US.
So yeah, I was a visual kei.
Wow.
I did the music with my friends, and then I kept studying Japanese for a little while. And then after that, I just started looking for jobs where I could use Japanese, because like the requirement for living in Japan is you either have a degree in a specific study, or you have 10 years of equivalent experience in the field. So I just acquired 10 years of equivalent experience. I did this homestay when I was about 14, then when I was 16, I graduated early from high school. And I started studying Japanese a little bit in community college. But things just kind of like were complicated. It was hard to continue going to school, so I just decided to work. So that's how I spent 10 years from about 15, 16 to the age of 25 doing all these different jobs where I could use Japanese.
Yes.
So that was like, I worked for the police, I worked for DHC, the skincare company.
Yeah, I
I
know
worked
that.
for, so a lot of random jobs, but any job where I could use Japanese. And then my mother worked for a vending machine company, and they just happened to decide they want to start operations in Japan, and they needed some technicians to go and install the machines and do sales. And they interviewed me, and they gave me about like 2 weeks of training, and then they said, yeah, go to Japan now.
Wow. What was the level of Japanese language when
I got here,
mostly like super fluent, right?
no, it was terrible.
Was it?
Because I had studied for maybe 4 years in total. And then I sang in Japanese, but I didn't have any opportunities to speak Japanese. I did all these jobs where I could use Japanese in context, but I did not ever really feel comfortable enough while in the States to use Japanese with my friends. And then when I got here, and I had to do sales, and I had to do all these things going on in the country, it was basically just survival mode.
So brave. How is it like 10 years before being an American guy working in Japan? Like, I don't know how open people was. I feel
10
like,
years ago?
yeah,
It's crazy.
Right?
It was totally different.
Right?
I look at things now and I'm like, this is insane. And when I came 10 or 12 years ago as it was, like people didn't have smartphones at the time.
No, very.
Yeah, so they had like, old like flip style cell phones. And there was no community.
Yes.
So like you had friends that you either met while you were in Japan, or you had friends that you knew back in the States and you just happened to be in Japan at the same time. And if you had none of that, you just had no community. So my experience was very isolated. I didn't know what the best or worst parts of Japan were when I got here. It was just experience it and get used to it and keep moving. I think it's good now. I mean, as much as that information as it is to take in at one time, it is nice that people have a community now, like from the beginning. Like, they know exactly like what to expect, and they have someone they can reach out to when they have questions.
芸能界, which is like celebrity world,
Yeah.
you have a unique, special
I
society, isn't it?
I think